Hi winners! I thought I'd open up with one of my favorite views in our classroom. That's our reading corner, and then in front of the window is a new computer workstation for our laptops. I love our reading corner. I love spending time over there sharing books with you. There's a big fan over there because yesterday we didn't have any air conditioning. I just thought you might want to see a little peek of the room that's waiting for you to get here. And for those of you that get to stay home and do virtual classroom time, I just want you to envision yourself here during the day with me sharing stories with you. It's a comfy, cozy place, and I love to share it with you. Let me turn my camera. Hi, it's me again. Here I am at the small group table. We spend a lot of time here working on puzzles, doing projects, and just reading together, studying together, learning together, writing together. It's a great place to hang out. So today I'm going to do our video a little different. It's Happy Wednesday, Hump Day, and I'm going to include the writing, the grammar, and the reading all in one. You ask how I do that? Well, listen closely. First of all, the reading. We've been talking about fiction. We've been reading, or trying to read, thank you for your patience. We've been trying to read Red-Tailed Angels together. And this was a great fiction story. We met some characters, Charlie and Tex, and Charlie's dad, and then the Air Force guy, the pilot that was kind of rude, but now we can do, no spoiler alert, we all know he came around to being understanding and appreciative of these Tuskegee Airmen. So we've met those characters. They're fiction characters, but they seem very real to us. And what we're going to write today, you can take a fiction character or nonfiction, I'm going to be nice, this is your choice, and you're going to write about that character. Okay? If it's a nonfiction, it might be a nonfiction character, it might be a person in your life that you have gone on a trip with recently. It could be mom or dad. It could be a brother or sister, a former teacher, maybe a new teacher. You could choose to write about, and you choose to organize your writing. That's really important, is that our writing is organized. So when I was thinking about this, I thought, I'm in my classroom, our classroom, and I was looking around, and I have a lot of journals to pick from. I showed you my journals before. My very ancient journal from when I was in 6th grade with ideas, and I have a friend in here that I write about a lot who became my very best friend, Janet, and we were able to reconnect this summer. So what I could do with that inspiration, I have two choices. I could write a fiction story based on Janet and myself, or I could write a true story based on Janet and myself and our time together in London. Either way I wanted to do that, I could do that. Then I found some pictures I think I might have showed you for the journal inspiration. I found these two pictures, one of when we just had our oldest daughter, Julia. Wow, that was a long time ago. We were visiting Mr. Wilson's family in Tennessee. So I could write about that, and I could make it fiction or nonfiction. My choice. Or I found when Lydia was just a little tiny baby, and Julia was in a wedding once again. It was a friend of ours from Tennessee, and Mr. Wilson was doing the wedding. Julia was the flower girl, and of course, Lydia and I were just there. But I could write about that. I could make it true story about the wedding and traveling with a 2-week-old baby. Okay, maybe she was a month, but she wasn't any more than that. Traveling all the way to Tennessee to do a wedding. Or I can make up a story about traveling to Tennessee with a baby to do a wedding. Either way, it's my choice. All right? Then I looked around the room some more, and during all this COVID time at home, I was actually cleaning out a closet in the office that I was transforming my classroom to, and I found this picture. some of you might have had brothers or sisters that went to Stewart Creek when Miss Fiaschetti was our principal. And Miss Fiaschetti had a theme of little golden years, and we had to all pick our favorite little golden book. And then we had to put other things in the picture that described us, kind of like a pictorial inspiration board. So, of course, I have my sea turtles. And my very favorite story was the Pokey Little Puppy. I love, love, love the Pokey Little Puppy. And then shell hunting. And that shell is one of the ones that they say you can put up to your ear and you can hear the ocean roar. I love it. It'll take you right to the beach when you need to go to the beach, but you can't quite get there. So that could be my inspiration. I could write fiction or nonfiction. I could write fiction wanting to find a big shell like that, or I could write nonfiction talking about a time I found shells. I didn't find them that big, but my mom and dad were actually in Indonesia, and my mom found some really big shells like that. So, so cool. Or, in case you need more ideas, I kept looking around the room, and I found this picture, a very old picture, but it means so much. It's my mom and her mother. Obviously, I want you to know I did not take this picture. This was way before I was born, but there's my Granny Joya and there's my mom. And the reason I keep my Granny Joya, a picture of her in the classroom, is because she was a teacher. She not only was a teacher, she was the girls' basketball coach, and she was the coach of the debate team. So way back then, because my mom is now, well, she wouldn't want me telling you her age, but I'm proud of her age because it means she's healthy and strong. My mom is in her 90s. I won't say where, but barely in them, but she's in them. And so you know her mom's would have been a lot older if she was still living. She was a teacher. Well, she passed away when I was only in first grade, but she made such an impact on my life. I want to be a teacher like she was. I want to set goals, and I want to constantly be improving the way my granny was. So these two women are very special in my life. So I could write a story. Maybe I could write a fiction short about being in my granny's classroom, or a fiction about being on my granny's debate team, what it might have been like. Okay, I can't write a true story about that because I wasn't, but I could interview my mom and I could ask her about those things and write a true story or an informative story, either one. Totally my choice. Then, of course, old trusty subjects, books. Books. When I was cleaning off our bookshelf, I found this book I haven't read yet, Hidden Figures, about those women who were so smart. They were smarter than the computers that were just coming out. Mathematicians, brilliant engineers, and they worked for NASA, but because they were women and because they were women of color, they didn't get the respect they deserved immediately. Maybe some of you have seen the movie Hidden Figures if you like NASA space stories. I love space stories. But I found this. I could write an informative story about these women, or I could create a fiction story about these women, what I might imagine their experience might have been like. I found this book that's been on my shelf forever and I've never read it. It says Ida Fair Comes Over the Mountain. Okay? Ida Early. But here's what made me think about it. It says, a beautifully wrought story, wrought meaning a formal word for written or brought to you, a beautifully wrought story of a mountain Mary Poppins. Oh my gosh. You know that caught my attention. So I could create a story of someone. Maybe I could create a story of like Mary Poppins in the classroom. I could create a fiction story with these characters, right? Or Dog Called Kitty. I could write a fiction story, or I could write a book talk kind of about this book, A Dog Called Kitty, and make some connections. Then there's this book that I will share with you later, A Long Walk to Water, about the need for water in Africa and two different tribes and how they got hot water, and I don't want to tell you more because we will read this together. I can make a fiction or a nonfiction writing snippet out of any of these ideas. So your first step is to choose a topic. Think through that topic, and you come up with your idea. You find ideas. Look, I gathered all of these things here to find an idea. Then pick the one that, as you think about it, grows. Like, oh, I could do this, I could do this, I could do this. And then plan it out. Don't just start throwing it on paper. Plan it out. What's your beginning, what's your middle, and what's your end. And sometimes when I write, I come up with the end long before the beginning or middle, or I'll write parts of it and then I'll think to myself, oh, this would go better here. So, but plan it out, beginning, middle, end, and then just start writing. Then just start writing. Now this writing goes in your spiral, your 3-subject spiral. If it's not totally set up, don't worry about it, but just write it to where it's someplace you can keep it. You plan it. You write it in here. Then you need to use your grammar skills. You're at home. You have plenty of time to look up words. You have plenty of time to double check the spelling. Okay? So I want you to, right? You have time to either Google the correct spelling. You have time to ask a family member to proofread it for you, and don't ask them how to spell it yet, but maybe highlight the ones you might need help with, and then see if you can go find it. I focus that on a lot. Teach a man to fish, feed him for a lifetime. If I just give you a fish, if I just tell you how to spell something, if I just give you an answer, you write it down and you move on. But if you have to go find it, you tend to retain it. Case in point, last night I was on a webinar listening about an educational one, someone I really like to listen to on Monday nights, and she kept referencing an LMS. And I thought, what's an LMS? And I could have put in the chat room, what's an LMS? But I thought, no, let me see if I can find it out, because the way she's using the term, it's probably one I should know. So I got my handy dandy phone and I went to handy dandy Google and I typed in what is LMS, and boom, there it was, Learning Management Systems. So when people use acronyms like that, sometimes we may not know. All right, so just last night I used that handy dandy tool of finding it out. Now, will I always remember what learning management systems are? Because I found it myself? Absolutely. Now, don't spend too long looking and let us help, but put forth the effort first. The more effort we put into our learning, the more it becomes ours. And whether we're together in a classroom or together virtually, which is so cool we can do this, our learning can still be real and our learning can still be personal. So with that, I'm going to leave you for today with your assignment to choose a topic, fiction or nonfiction, that interests you, and plan it, write it, proofread it, have a friend, a parent, a grandparent, a brother, sister, read over it, check for spelling, and check, does each sentence start with a capital letter, and does each sentence end with appropriate punctuation? Just those 3 basic things as you being the first editor. Please don't think it has to be perfect, but you need to show effort, that you worked on it. You have time. You have time. If we were together in class, you'd be in class for 8 hours. So you have time to put forth effort into these assignments. And so many of you you're doing such a great job. You're doing that, right? And I look forward to you sharing those writings with me on Seesaw. Take a picture of it. I can zoom in and read it if it's written dark enough. Also, I want you to video yourself reading it to me. It's just you and me and the camera. I'm getting more used to talking in front of a camera. Yes, it's weird at first for some of us. Some of you not so much, but make sure it's planned first. All right? I look forward to hearing your writings and hearing what you chose, fiction or nonfiction. I'll be able to tell, I should be able to tell, but if you want to put it under your title, fiction or nonfiction, by, and your name, that's perfectly fine. Have a good time, and I can't wait to hear your creativity. Talk to you soon. Bye.